was a wonderful weekend. God was very much in touch with me and spoke with me, helped me resolve a lot of issues. When I got home, we took a ride in the car, and I said, I have some things I need to tell you that I didn't tell you. And I need to tell you these things because I need to release this stuff. I need to let this go. And so we rode in the car, and I told him things that were very, very personal that happened to me that I never shared with him as his wife. And it was such a healing for me. But the next day, it was very clear that I just became very, very angry with God about, I don't even know what I was angry at him.
It was very confusing because you did 180 degrees from the day before. When she came home, she was so excited and just, bursting. I gotta tell you this, gotta tell you this, gotta tell you this. Just so excited. And then Sunday, there was a 180 degree shift, and she was angry and she was bitter. And it wasn't till nearly the end of the day when we were talking that she told me about this shredding. She said she was no longer going to acknowledge the other side. And I said, wow, that just explained today. And she's like, what? I said, you drew a line in the sand. You sat there and said, I dare you, you can't get me. And he threw everything he had at her.
I wouldn't even sing in church that day. That had never happened. I didn't want to talk to God. I didn't want anything to do with him. I just was there. I was present. And there was one song that I had never been able to get through, and that is the song, It Is Well With My Soul. Never been able to sing it without falling apart. And I had gotten to the point where just a couple weeks before that, I was able to do it. And very rarely does our church play that song, but I was finally able to get through it with maybe a little tear and not wailing and just, because it wasn't okay with my soul, but it was finally okay with my soul. And it just so happened that Sunday morning when all this happened, they played that song. And I looked at God and I just said, I won't even sing it for you. It was a horrible morning. And then when I got home, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't understand why all this was going on. And I just felt really bad about it because God was so present the day before. And he spoke to me so much the day before. And he was there. And I think it was just a final release of, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I think it was the final I'm just not going to live like this anymore. And it's opening myself up. I'm available. You do whatever you want, God, because I'm not playing the game between the two of them anymore. Let go. But it was a really tough experience the day after because I'd opened myself up so much to God.
So
healed some of our marriage. It healed some of it healed some past things for me. Everybody praying over me that night was, it really wasn't about the cancer. And everybody may have thought that's what the healing was for, but the true healing was for me, emotionally. God really took some really tough stuff away through that weekend and squashed it. It's gone. And knowing that he was there. The watercolors, incredible. The covenant of silence, I just began to write and to write and to write and to write, and it was God speaking. And I came home and I said, you gotta.
Like a kid at Christmas. It was really, she was just bursting.
I said, you gotta listen to this. Listen to what God said to me today. And great experience. I'm looking forward to many more.
Just be careful what you
pray for. I counseled with my pastor about it, the experience that I had, and he explained to me that there's only one of him, and he can't be everywhere all the time. But as you mature as a Christian, it's easier to ward him off farther away. He doesn't have to get as close anymore because your strength grows in Christ, and your awareness is so much more prevalent um, at a farther distance. So it's easier, it gets easier to ward off those things and, pray about it. So that's what I've started doing, started to know when he's getting close and just say, no, sorry. And being at the Fruitbearer retreat, I think we've been growing for years in Christ, but that was my moment, my own personal moment with the Lord that I'd never experienced before. And it was so intimate that it helped me know that he is right there. He is so right there all the time. It just made me more aware of his presence.